When you infer that the U.S. National Security Advisor has turned a blind eye to genocide, you are bound to start a few conversations and get more than a few people angry with you. But there is always a method behind the madness of one who seeks to ensure his cause is smack dab in front of the public every second of every day. Let's welcome back to MidPoint, the founder of This World, the Values Network, and a multiple author, commentator, and political activist, Rabbi Shmuley Boteach joins us. Rabbi, good to see you again.
Well, that was an amazing summary. I'm impressed.
That was not bad. You know, that's why actually I get the good money. You know, they bring me in here just for you for this, boss. I swear. Hey, now I got in my hands here from the Washington Post a Dear Susan Rice, I'm sorry from you, and you basically point out that in keeping with the Jewish admonition that he who has caused offense in public must apologize in public too. You're apologizing here, but it sounds like you're still trying to make a point and not really apologize. How am I doing?
No, I did apologize. If I offended anyone because it was seen as a personal attack, I take full responsibility and I apologize. That's what I said. But I don't retract my message. I'm not the issue and my ego's not the issue. And if I did something wrong, I have to confess it and make it right. The issue is Iran. The issue is a genocide against the Jewish people. The issue is the spiritual leader of a government who tweeted that Israel has no cure except to be annihilated. The issue is a government that sponsors more terrorism than any other in the world. The issue is one Holocaust was quite enough, and now we're being threatened with a second. So I have to communicate my message. I don't retract the message. All of us have a blind spot to genocide, which is why there were so many. I list the 8 or 9 genocides of the 20th century, beginning of the 21st century, in that Washington Post column. And the United States government, which is now in negotiations with Iran, that will allow them a very significant and highly dangerous nuclear infrastructure, needs to get serious about not appeasing this government. I don't retract from that at all.
But, Rabbi, what is the message? What is the exact message? And what's the reaction, I guess, that you want out of this? Did you get what you wanted?
Well, what I want is to warn the world about the Iranian nuclear danger, no different to what the Prime Minister of Israel and so many others who know this to be a very bad deal want as well. Now, the problem is that we have an administration that's fighting hard to conclude this deal and to conclude it very rapidly. So rapidly that it can smack of recklessness. This is a government that none of us would trust to even purchase a used car. Why would we believe them about keeping their centrifuges to a minimum? But even the deal itself gives them 6,000 centrifuges. This deal allows them to go nuclear haywire after a sunset period of 10 years. Who would trust these people? These are people who hang gay men in public squares. These are people who stone women to death. If they're not evil, then the word has no meaning.
But do you think your message got lost a little? Do you think your message and your push got lost a little bit in the whole genocide controversy here?
Well, as I said in my Washington Post column, the purpose and objective of a communicator is to communicate effectively. And if I'm not communicating effectively, I need to take responsibility for whatever errors of judgment I made, and I have to try again, which is exactly what I do in that column. I don't want to be a distraction, and I don't want to be the issue. I want the focus to be clearly on Iran. Now, I don't retract what I said about genocide and all of our blind spots. The fact is the United States government has serious blind spots to genocide, which is why Samantha Power's book, which I quote from, and she's now the American ambassador to the United Nations, won the Pulitzer Prize. It's all about American inaction in the face of genocides. Listen, our government, President Obama made a campaign promise that he would recognize the Armenian genocide. He's been in office for many years, and he has yet to recognize the Armenian genocide because we don't want to piss off Erdogan of Turkey, who's a tyrant. And maybe President Obama has good reasons to do so, but I'm sorry, genocide is genocide. All of us have a blind spot that we have to recognize.
Then, Rabbi, let me ask you this. With about a minute left here, let me ask you this then. You mentioned that we have a blind spot for genocide, yet the attempted genocide of the Jewish people in World War II by the Nazis has come at a time when it is fresh to still so many of us. Why are we still then having a blind spot when we have seen it not only there but in other places in our own lifetimes, and we see it every day?
Well, this just shows your genius as a host, because that is the most important question of all. How is it that we don't learn from history? History repeats itself, and how is it that we look at millions of people dying, and it wasn't an attempted genocide, it was a genocide. 1 out of 3 Jews on planet Earth, 10,000 a day, were gassed, shot, turned into lampshades, cremated. Why haven't we learned from it? Because people aren't speaking out. That's my job, to speak out. So it does create a bit of a ruckus, and we're sorry if we created an offense, which is why I apologize, but I'm not going to be silenced. Jews of silence can lead, God forbid, to dead Jews. We're going to ensure that never happens again. And if it means that we have to get in people's face a little bit without offending them and without making it personal, we're going to do that. It's what the Prime Minister did. We have to. what is it that people want to slaughter all the Jews? What is Iran's problem? What did we do to Iran that they've drawn a bead on the Jewish people to annihilate them?
All right, now that's exactly the point. However, we are out of time for this segment. I tell you what, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss that, because that, I think, is at the core of a lot of what we're discussing here today. Rabbi Shmuley, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Be well.
Thank you.
All right, take care. The old sports adage comes into play yet again. I don't care if he's dirty as long as he helps us win a title. The Sports Professor is next.